stranger things have happened.
Yes, they have.
Nothing shocks me about this game.
Who do you think grabbed this rebound? Logically, it should be Julius Randle. He's the highest in the air. Or maybe Quentin Grimes. Christian Wood also has a chance to grab the ball, as well as Miles McBride. Let's find out.
And that Drew rim, it's still loose. Luka got it back. He did it.
Yeah, that just happened. On top of making that shot to send the game to overtime, the Mavericks would go on to win the game. And Luka Doncic would end the game scoring 60 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists. A 60-point triple-double. Only the second one in NBA history. The first one was done by James Harden in 2018 in 46 minutes against the Orlando Magic. What makes Luka's performance more impressive is that he grabbed double the amount of rebounds James Harden did in just one more minute played. To put this historic performance in perspective, here are a couple facts. This was the first 60-20-10 game in league history. Not even Wilt recorded this type of line. In fact, if you took away 10 rebounds from Luka's performance, he would still have the first 60-11-10 game in league history. By game score, this was the 7th best performance in NBA history, with a game score of 56.3. The last players to record a 60-20 game was Shaq, Wilt, Elgin Baylor, and George Mikan. What do they all have in common? They're all centers and forwards. Luka is the first guard to ever achieve that type of stat line. A lot of crazy things happened in the NBA this past season, things you may not have realized, so I made a video to run you down some of these moments. The Sacramento Kings made the playoffs for the first time in 16 years this season. If you even paid the slightest attention to sports in the United States, you would already know that this was the longest playoff drought across the 4 major sports leagues, the NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL. That record now belongs to the New York Jets. But what you probably didn't know is that before their first playoff series in over a decade against the Golden State Warriors, the Kings as a franchise had only scored 471 threes in the playoffs. Their opponent, Steph Curry, alone before the series started, had scored 576 threes in the playoffs. 105 more threes than an entire franchise that was founded in 1945 and played their first playoff game in 1948. Granted, the three-point line wasn't added into the NBA until 1979, but the Kings still had an 8-year head start before Curry was born. But the Kings aren't the only ones that fall short of Curry's tally in playoff threes. Out of the other 29 teams in the NBA, Steph Curry has more playoff threes than 4 of them. The Charlotte Hornets, 277, the Minnesota Timberwolves, 423, the New Orleans Pelicans, 377, and the Washington Wizards, 551, making 5 teams in total that Steph Curry has more playoff threes made. This is just more evidence that Curry is the greatest shooter in NBA history. But even though with all the impressive three-point records Curry holds, one of the records that he doesn't have is the most threes made in his first year in the league. In his rookie season, Curry made 166 threes in 80 games in 2010. If you had to guess who owns the record, you might think of his teammate Klay Thompson, who currently holds the record for most threes made in a game with 14. Well, you'd also be wrong, because he only made 111 in 66 games his rookie year. It also wasn't Ray Allen. He made 117 in 82 games. Not Reggie Miller. He would score 61 in 82 games in 1987. Trae Young made 156 in 81 games his rookie season, but he also doesn't have the record. Not even Damian Lillard, who hit 185 in 82 games his rookie year. Out of guesses? Well, it's Keegan Murray. Yeah, in his rookie year, he broke the record at the time, making his 188th three against the Portland Trail Blazers. He would eventually extend the record to 206 made threes in 80 games, shooting at a 41.1% clip. In 1987, Reggie Miller's rookie year, the average three-point attempts per game was only 5, with teams making an average of 1.6 per game. In 2023, the average three-point attempts per game was 34.2, with teams making an average of 12.3 per game. The more you attempt, the more you should make. And we only have this team to blame. Since winning their first championship in 40 years in 2015, the average three-point attempts per game has risen by 11.8. If one team went to the final 6 times in 9 seasons while winning 4 championships, other teams would try to emulate what's working. The way basketball has played has changed. Keegan Murray may hold the record for now, but don't be surprised if another sharpshooter rookie breaks the record as the league continues to attempt more threes. On March 8, 2009, the Oklahoma City Thunder would match up against the Philadelphia 76ers. Kevin Durant and Jeff Green would not suit up and play tonight because of injury, leaving a sophomore season Russell Westbrook to take lead of the team. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are both not in the league yet, which means the leaders on the team are Andre Iguodala, who was averaging 18.1 points per game at the time, and Thaddeus Young. The Sixers would go on to lose that game and start what would be a 19-game losing streak to one team. Yes, you heard me right. From that day of March 8, 2009, the Thunder would not lose to the 76ers until February 28, 2019, nearly a decade later. Granted, because these two teams are in different conferences, they only match up between each other twice a season, but this is still one of the biggest losing streaks to one team in league history. After this season's trade deadline, which saw Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant leaving the Nets, the New York Knicks were able to beat the Brooklyn Nets for the first time in over 3 years on February 13th, a 9-game losing streak to one team. The last time the Knicks were able to beat their crosstown rivals was on January 26, 2020. But unless you're a Lakers fan or Clippers fan, you probably didn't know that the Lakers haven't beat their own city rival since July 30th, 2020. In the bubble.
Side a lunging 3, no, rebound Caruso, that's it, Lakers have won.
It's been 3 years since the Lakers beat the Clippers, and this streak is still active. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George may not have the championship LeBron and Anthony Davis have, but they definitely have had their number in head-to-head matchups. Russell Westbrook, who joined the Clippers mid-season, also had a blast beating the Lakers after they traded him at the deadline. There's an active player in the league that has made the NBA Finals every year he's been on a playoff roster. Take a random guess. No, it's not Patrick McCaw. Patrick McCaw would win his own three-peat, winning back-to-back with the Warriors in 2017 and 18, then winning with the Toronto Raptors in 2019. But in 2020 in the bubble, the Raptors would lose to the Celtics in 7 games in the semifinals. Despite McCaw leaving the bubble early for treatment on his knee, he was still a member of the Raptors, which means he didn't make it to the finals that season. Don't have a clue? Well, it's Kevin Love. Random, but true. Love has been on the playoff roster 5 times in his career, 4 times with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and 1 recent run with the Miami Heat after a contract buyout with the Cavaliers. Despite only winning 1 championship, Kevin Love has been a key factor in the 4 finals he's played in. He would also have been a key factor in 2015 if, well, Kelly Olynyk didn't try to rip his arm off. Kevin Love either has NBA all-time consistency or it has the greatest luck an athlete can have.